So this is Lauren Steiner, and you can't see me because I don't have my camera person, but I am here at UNC Asheville, where they have just started an encampment, and I am with Wolfie, who is one of the media spokespeople. Tell us what this encampment is all about. What is your purpose so close to the end of the school year?
Our purpose is fourfold. First, I always want to mention solidarity with the Palestinian people experiencing a genocide, solidarity with universities not only in the United States but across the globe that are experiencing police repression. Let me pull out our demands so that I don't misquote us. Number one, divestment of the UNC system from Israel. Number two, transparency and funding. We've been trying to see how much of the UNC system is funding or being funded by Israeli companies or weapons manufacturers that are sending weapons into Israel, and it's been difficult. Number three, cut ties with Israeli universities where they may exist and establish ties with Gazan universities. We do know that nearly all, if not all, universities in Gaza have been bombed and destroyed. The buildings, but the people remain, and they will need technical support in the rebuilding process, and we wish UNCA to be a part of that. Maybe also a study abroad program once this is all over. And finally, number four, a ceasefire resolution from UNCA administration and faculty.
Now, how consistent is this with the other Gaza Solidarity encampments across the country? They seem like they're pretty much the same demands. How much coordination has been going on?
We learn from our predecessors, so it's not like we're in direct contact with, except for a couple, especially in the UNC system. We tried to contact those in Chapel Hill. But we all want the same things because it feels correct. It's human to want an end to this genocide. We don't want to be complicit in the murder of students while we're students at this university. And I feel that that's true not only across the U.S. but across the world.
Now, I noticed that this encampment, although Vanderbilt is in over a month, Columbia is probably less than Vanderbilt, but this encampment and so many of the others did not start until after the president of Columbia called in the NYPD to raid that camp, and there were violent arrests. Would you say that you guys were also motivated by that reaction?
Absolutely. So we've been motivated to try and get anything started on UNCA. This is not the first action that students and student-led organizations have done. But this is a part of the police repression that is intrinsically connected with the occupation of Palestine.
So in a sense, what they did totally backfired on them because it was just like wildfire. And it reminds me of when they pepper sprayed those two peaceful protesters at Occupy, and then that spread like wildfire.
Absolutely.
How do you respond to these administrations who are brutally repressing their own students who are actually paying to go to that university?
With disgust, because we are a collective here of students who wish to learn and be challenged in our ideas. But when we express those things using completely legal means to be met with such horrific violence, it's atrocious. But I do also want to mention that it's nothing that Palestinians don't go through on a daily. So yeah, it's nothing for us, I think, to really be a part of this.
Can we stand under there?
Sure.
Yeah, I want to continue this interview, but I don't want to get soaked. Maybe under here?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, it just started to rain here, folks.
Yeah, and note that the structure that we're actually interviewing under, administration has warned us to take this down, and we refuse because we feel that, we want to keep our stuff from being rained on.
Right.
So yeah, that's a policy that we decided on, and we will see what they meet us with.
Now, what do you think about the universities that have actually disbanded their encampments because their administrations are actually setting up task forces to examine their investment policies, and or my own alma mater, Wesleyan University, that said as long as they're peaceful, as long as there's no defacement of property, as long as people are allowed to pass, there's no reason for them to be disbanded.
Yes, and hard agree. The disbanding is through horrific police repression and violence. These students don't go away on their own. They are arrested and intimidated off of their own campus.
Got umbrellas for people who need them.
Yeah. So how, aside from them telling you to take down the tents, how else has the university here responded to you?
So about every hour on the hour, we are circled by police. We do not know if they are campus police or APD. We also have had administration circle us constantly to keep an eye on things. Yes, we also got an email from the chancellor this morning praising us for keeping within policy, but also threatening to shut it down if we do not keep responding to their demands.
Now, what do you think of, can we keep going?
Yeah.
Okay, so what do you think of the media's characterization? When I say the media, I mean cable news and legacy print media that are calling these pro-Palestinian, or even worse, pro-Hamas, or anti-Semitic. What is your response to that characterization?
I think that's absolutely ridiculous. We have many Jewish students here at this encampment who simply want an end to the violence. I think it's just fear-mongering once again. I also want to mention that it's the anniversary of Kent State.
Today?
Today.
Wow.
It's May 4th, yeah. So, again, fear-mongering is their game. They simply don't want to acknowledge what they are participating in.
Yeah. Now, I'll let you know that I have not a single viewer here, and I have 7,800 followers, and I have been for 7 months totally shadow banned on Facebook because I've been covering this thing every day, and it's really outrageous. Have you heard about the focus group or the poll that was done that people who are getting their news from cable TV or legacy print media have a completely different view than other people who are getting their views from YouTube, X, Instagram, TikTok?
Yeah.
And there's a real divide in the country because of the media. What do you think about the media?
I think that people should be discerning in what, mainstream media tells you. And also with any media that you consume. Like, even though you can find good information off Twitter, X, formerly known as Twitter, TikTok, all that good stuff, one must be discerning. But note that the narrative has completely shifted against the student protests and against what is obviously a genocide. Like, it is obvious that the administration, the Biden administration, wants a certain narrative pushed, and that is what is being pushed. What is good for profits is what will be told.
Now, I was at UNC Chapel Hill on Tuesday and Wednesday. Unfortunately, I got there after they had raided the encampment, but I was there when they took down the American flag and put up the Palestinian flag.
Yep.
And then they called in campus facilities who put the barricade back up, took down the Palestinian flag, put back up the United States flag, and there was some they were chanting USA, USA, and I talked to some of them about the issues, and even one guy said he really didn't know about the situation as well as I did, and so he didn't want to opine about it, but he just felt like, the flag shouldn't be desecrated in that manner. And even an MSNBC reporter who was there repeated that word, desecrated. And I said, it's not being desecrated, it's being taken down. That's very different. What do you think of an action like that? Do you think that's too provocative, or do you think it's in keeping with your message?
I can't speak for the other encampments. We have been trying to get a force out here to actually get our demands met. But I think whoever and whatever groups want to do what they will to try and get a message out there, I think they should do.
And I also spoke to a Jewish student, a grad student from Duke, who had come down to show solidarity. There were like 4 universities in the area, and they figured there would be better if they could have more people. And I said to her, what do you think is next? School year is over. Everybody's going to leave. She seemed to indicate that people were going to stick around, that she had heard people were canceling their summer plans to keep these encampments going. What is the situation here at UNCA?
We're taking it a day at a time. We need more resources if we want to attempt something like that, but for now we are seeing where administration is at and if they will meet our demands.
And have they come out to talk to you at all? Aside from telling you you need to leave, they don't even want to have a discussion.
Not that we've seen. We've tried talking to the chancellor. She left before we could have a chance to supply her with our demands. We have talked with administration and we have handed them our demands, but they seem to not read it or discuss it with us. They simply walked away after handing us their own policy.
Now, they told me that they are willing to get arrested, suspended, and even expelled for this cause. How many of you feel the same way?
I can't speak for the whole group. I'm a senior. I am willing to stand here in solidarity with the Palestinian people no matter what comes down. Even if they revoke my degree, I will be here.
And how many people have shown up for this encampment since you started a couple days ago?
The first day we had around 50, and then it's been fluctuating with different students, community members throughout the 2 days since that point.
And I noticed that you're trying to do a series of events, including teach-ins.
Yeah.
I had to tell somebody on my Facebook page who said, I think these students should stop shouting at each other and sit down and start learning about the situation. And I said, well, clearly you're not paying attention, because that's exactly what they're doing. They probably know more about the history of the conflict and the current situation than you do. Tell us about these teach-ins.
So these teach-ins have been varied and throughout all the different days. So the current one that we're doing is a grow-in. So learning about indigeneity as it comes with ecology and with seeds and with growing things that are native here in Western North Carolina. Other teach-ins have included topics such as decolonization, language, indigeneity, and language as well, because decolonization here and colonization here is intrinsically connected to Palestine and the Palestinian issue. So we've been learning both about Cherokee and about the history and context of Palestine.
And how many faculty are involved in this? Because I notice at other universities, faculties are coming out to support and even in many cases protect the students, and they're being brutalized in the action of doing that.
Yeah, we've noticed that as well, and we think it's just terrific to have these learned professors. We think it's a beautiful show of support and solidarity, but it's horrific that they get slammed to the ground and arrested in the ways that we've seen via video. We've had from 4 to 5 different faculty members. One do teach-ins, so we want professionals and those who know, along with other community members, do the teach-ins, but just to stand in solidarity with us and to be there also when we talk to administration. So yeah, we've had a bunch of faculty support.
And how much do you think the university crackdown is capitulation to politicians like Elise Stefanik and others in Washington, D.C., and also donors? We've seen donors who have donated multi-millions stop their donations. Do you think that's a factor here with this administration?
Yeah, so one of our demands is transparency, and we think it would be very easy to be transparent if there was nothing to hide. So we think those demands would have been met if there wasn't anything that they could, just publicly be like, okay, here it is. We know it's also a long process to be fully transparent, But if there was nothing really, they could just say, okay, we can do that. So yeah, there is definitely other economic factors at play, other budgetary concerns of the university that are at play, and political pressures.
And what are you asking the people in the community here in Asheville to do when they see this?
Come on by if you truly want to. Show some support. Our current asks, as you can see, it's raining. So our current asks are ponchos, other rain gear, weatherproof sleeping bags. Also, if you feel the need, contact one of us to organize for food. We always need rotating meals for all the different comrades who are here.
Is there a way that people can get in touch with this encampment?
Absolutely, but I would have to think about it. Because right now it's usually been person to person.
So there's no, like, at UNC Chapel Hill, they have a Students for Justice for Palestine Instagram account where they communicate with the public?
We need to actually get one of those, because currently we do not.
Okay, well, maybe when you come up with something, you could put it in the live stream, in the comments on this live stream, because I'm going to share this to about 25 different groups and Facebook groups that I'm in and here in Asheville.
You got it.
Any other comments that you want to make about the situation? What's your reaction to the news that Hamas is willing to accept the ceasefire negotiated by Egypt, but Israel isn't because they refuse to promise to not go into Rafah after they get their hostages out?
It sounds very similar to other agreements that have been proposed earlier in the year and earlier in the previous year. Not shocking, but still we stand in solidarity with the Palestinian people until a free Palestine. And truly, we are here to support however we can.
Thank you very much, Wolfie.
Thank you.
And I will post this and share it with you.
Awesome.
Okay.